What's up guys, welcome to my video on my top 5 most underrated dinos in ARK. Now, I am playing on ARK Survival Ascended, so the list is kind of limited. Um, if I was on ARK Survival Evolved, maybe it would be different, but, I'm limited with the dinos I can put on the list. So this list is just on the dinos that are currently in the game. Anyway, let's get into it. Coming in at number 1, and hear me out on this one, we have the Parasaur. Now, why is the Parasaur on the list? The Parasaur is on the list because I feel like, well, one, it's just so good at getting resources, I think a lot of people early game will just try to get like a trike or something to get narco berries, but to get something like a trike or to get another team, what do you need? You need to knock it unconscious, right? Now, what do you need to knock it unconscious? What was that? Oh, okay. What do you need to knock it unconscious? You need trank arrows, right? What do you need for trank arrows? Narcotics. What do you need for narcotics? You need narco berries. And I think these guys are just so good for getting the narco berries because, well, they're effective at harvesting them. Like, one bush, I just got 11 narco berries. And I think I'm playing on 2 times right now, if you're wondering. And, these guys are really easy to tame. I think they only take like a few trank arrows. I think you can get them knocked out with a club. So they are really easy to tame. So like I think they're just such a good early game tame. And then on top of that, they have this turret mode where you can have them target all creatures only, players and tames only, or players only. I'm gonna have my Parasaur and creatures only. Okay, and then the Parasaur will alert you when something's in the radius of, like, when something it's looking for is in a certain radius, and I think that's just so useful, especially for PvP servers. And I think these guys are really just such great early game tames, and I don't think that they're tamed enough, and I just really recommend getting these guys like as probably your first tame. Like when a lot of my playthroughs, the Parasaur is literally the first thing I tame. I think they're just so good for early game. And yeah, Parasaur is in at number 5. Alright guys, coming in at number 4, we have the Iguanodon. Now, I think the Iguanodon is very similar to the Parasaur. I think it has stronger uses than the Parasaur, but it's still at it still ranks higher on this list than the Parasaur does, because it's just I just see it tamed less, I think that, well, okay, first off, I'll show you. So when we harvest bushes with the Iguanodon, it does collect berries a bit more than the Parasaur does, right? Now it's not like a huge difference, but the Iguanodon does collect berries more than the Parasaur does. And on top of that, it has 2 stances / modes. It has its bipedal mode, which is this one, where it's good at battling other players, dinos, whatever in the stance. It can take on raptors, it can take on carnos. It's by no means a weak. And then it has its quadruped stance. Now, it's very good at keeping you protected in either stance. Bipedal because it's strong. Quadruped because it literally does not use stamina while it's running, and this also makes it great for traveling. Like, this is, I think, the best early game dino in the game. It is so good. Like, it's just so good. Like, it's so good for collecting berries, it's so good for keeping you protected, it's so good for traveling. Like, it's just such a good early game tame. I really don't see people tame it a lot. I think one of the main reasons it's not tamed a lot is because these guys really are not that common. But even then, I think I see a lot of people early game be around an Iguanodon and then just not tame it. Like, this is my like go-to tame early game a lot of times. Like, they're just so good, I think. So anyway, yeah, Iguanodon is in at number 4. Alright guys, coming in at number 3, and I think a lot of you will be surprised with this one, but it is actually the Spino. Now, the reason I put the Spino on this list is because I think that these guys are, this might be a controversial thing to say, but I think overall, I think they're better than Rexes. And I see people tame Rexes so much more than Spinos. So that's why the Spino is on the list. Now, why do I think the Spino is so good, and why do I think it's overall better than Rexes? Well, first off, they're just a lot faster on land, like, as you can see. just, you know, a Rex is not going to have this type of speed, and this is a very low level Spino, by the way. This is a level 13, and if you have upgrading speed enabled, you know, you can get these guys really fast. On top of that, not only are they a lot faster in water, but they are genuinely good swimmers. Like from a general standpoint, like these guys are just good swimmers. You know, they're pretty fast in the water, and you know, my Spino is only a level 13, and he has 715 oxygen. Oh, there's a Megalodon, and like look, this guy's gonna murk the Megalodon. Like these guys are so strong too. Hold on, if I can turn around. You know, that's like the one downside to Spinos in the water, I guess. They can't turn very well, but I can just go back to land, turn around like this, go back in the water. Yeah, that was that it? Oh yeah, that was quick. See how quickly the Spino took out the Megalodon, and you get a water buff with the Spino too. They're just, I think all around I just think overall these guys are so good. And for like, obviously, okay, a lot of you probably know a Rex does have more health than a Spino, but I don't think a lot of people know that Spinos actually have a higher DPS than Rexes, because they have this stance where they can just swing really fast and they do pretty good damage with it. So Spinos do actually have a higher DPS than Rexes. I think a lot of people don't know that. So because of those reasons, I just think Spinos overall are better than Rexes. You know, I don't think they're like leagues above Rexes, but I do think they're better, and I would take a Spino over a Rex. Not that, like, I think, you know, I don't think Rexes are bad. I think Rexes are, I mean, just like a lot of people think, I think Rexes are one of the best tames in the game. I just think Spinos are better, and that's why Spino is coming in at number 3. Alright guys, coming in at number 2, we have the Manta. Now, I have the Manta on this list for one reason and one reason alone. Because of how fast they are. Look at how quickly these guys move. This is insane. They are so good for traveling in the water, and just, I'm surprised I don't see a lot of people use them. And they can jump out of the water. That is so cool. They're just so great for traveling in the water, and I don't think they're that hard to tame. They, like, you might think they're annoying to tame, but I don't think they're really hard to tame, especially if you're on a boosted server. Like, I think these guys are pretty easy to tame. So I think they're just so good for how easy they are to tame. Like, you can tame them very early on in the game, so I think they're just so great for the difficulty it is to get them. So Manta's coming in at number 2. Alright guys, and coming in at number 1, we have the Dire Bear. Oh, the textures did not load in. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so Dire Bear is in at number 1 because, well, 2 reasons. One, these guys are just, they have this ability where if you don't hit anything, they just keep gaining speed and they get so fast, and it's just such a good ability to have. And the second reason that I think these guys are so good is because of how strong they are. Now, obviously, only a level 6, but he has 400 health and really good melee damage. The health, not that good, but again, he's only a level 6, and then damage, pretty good. In fact, these guys are, even though they're not that big, you wouldn't think they're able to take on a Rex, but they are. And I'm going to show you right now. I spawned in a Rex over here. So let's get over here. It won't take us long because, you know, it's got that speed ability. And then another thing these guys have is they're just so great for getting honey. So if for whatever reason you would want honey, you can get it pretty easily with these guys. I'll let the Rex aggro make it fair. I want to show you guys how strong Dire Bears are. I'll let it roar. Alright, there we go. And like that, the Rex is down. Now, of course, this was only a level 3 Rex, but we're also only a level 6. So, I think the point was still proven that these guys are really strong. So, Dire Bears, I think they're an amazing mid-game tame. Especially like if you want something that's strong, but still really mobile. Like these guys are way more mobile than Rexes. When it comes to being on land, they're more mobile than Spinos. And like I said, they're just like great for getting honey as well. So for whatever reason you would want honey, these guys can get it for you pretty easily. So dire bear is in at number one. Alright guys, that was my top 5 most underrated dinos in ARK. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you have any video ideas or list ideas like top 5 or top 10 or top anything list, please let me know in the comments. I'll gladly make a video on it. Also, please follow my Twitch. It's Seahorse Milk 15, no spaces. I would really appreciate a follow on that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.